In this video, I will explain activity 4 of module V3 about the balance method on numworks. Activity 4 is very similar to activity 2, where you had to tell the computer what calculations to make using the buttons above, and then the computer did those calculations for you. The only difference is that now the equations will have brackets. In the previous instruction video that I made for today, I showed you how you have to remove brackets. So in this case, if we have to remove these brackets, we do 6 times x, which is 6x, and we do 6 times 1, which is 6, so we get 6x plus 6 on the left-hand side of the equation. Now, if we use this button, we tell the computer to remove the bracket. So if we press it, it will indeed say that the left-hand side becomes 6x plus 6, and the right-hand side stays the same. As you can see, removing brackets is called expanding as well. Now, from now on, it's the same as in activity 2. So what we want is the x's on the left-hand side and the regular numbers on the right-hand side. Right now on the right-hand side we have 9x. If we want to remove that from the right-hand side, we have to do minus 9x. So I press the minus here and I type 9x. It will subtract 9x both from the left-hand side and from the right-hand side. So on the right-hand side, all there's left is the minus 9. And on the left-hand side, it will subtract 9x from 6x, so we get minus 3x. Then we need the regular numbers to go to the right-hand side. So on the left-hand side, we now see 6, which we want to remove. So again, I press the minus, I type 6, enter, and it will remove the 6 from the left-hand side, and it will also subtract 6 from the minus 9 on the right-hand side, so that becomes minus 15. When you have the x's on the left-hand side and the regular numbers on the right-hand side, the last step is always to divide by whatever you have in front of x. So in this case, we have to divide both sides by minus 3. So we press the divide by button and we type in minus 3, and it will give the solution x is 5 of this equation. Moving on to exercise 3. Here we get an equation that has 2 pairs of brackets. One pair on the left-hand side and one pair on the right-hand side. We know that if we remove these brackets, on the left-hand side we have to do 3 times x, which is 3x, and 3 times minus 3, which is minus 9. And on the right-hand side we have to do 4 times 3, which is 12, and 4 times minus x, which is minus 4x. So we should get 3x minus 9 equals 12 minus 4x. So we press this button again and the computer will remove the brackets for us. And indeed we get 3x minus 9 on the left-hand side and 4x plus 12 on the right-hand side. Please note that they changed up the order. Originally I said 4 times 3 becomes 12 and 4 times minus x is minus 4x. But they reversed the order here. They put the x's first and the regular numbers behind it, which is all fine. And from here on, it's the same as before. So we try to get all of the x's to the left-hand side and all of the regular numbers to the right-hand side. Right now, on the right-hand side, we have minus 4x. If we want to remove that, we have to do plus 4x on both sides. So I press the plus button and I type in 4x. On the right-hand side, all there's left is 12. And on the left-hand side, the 3x has become 7x because 4x has been added to it. Now we want to remove minus 9 from the left-hand side, so we do plus 9, and as you can see on the right-hand side, 9 has been added now, so we get 7x equals 21. Now we have arrived at the last step, in which we always have to divide by whatever we see in front of x, so divide by 7 in this case, so x equals 3 is the solution to this equation. Moving on to exercise 4. Here we see an equation that's a little bit more difficult. Again, it has 2 pairs of brackets. And there's more on the left-hand side as well as on the right-hand side. To remove these brackets, again, we press this button here and we'll multiply 2 by x and 2 by minus 5. And we'll multiply 5 by x and 5 by minus 1. So we get 2x which comes from this one, and again plus 2x, which comes from the first multiplication of removing the brackets, and minus 10 comes from 2 times minus 5, that's the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, 8 comes from just copying that 8 down, and then 5 times x is this one, and 5 times minus 1 becomes minus 5. Now, this can be written down shorter. 2x plus 2x is the same as 2 times x plus another 2 times x, which is 4x together. And here we have 8 and minus 5, which is 3 if you collect them together. If you press this button, the computer will simplify our equation. And indeed, on the left-hand side, we get 4x, which comes from adding these two 2x's together. And plus 3 comes from 8 minus 5. And now it's the same as before. We try to move all of the x's to the left-hand side and all of the regular numbers to the right-hand side. So we have to remove 5x from the left-hand side by doing minus 5x. And we have to remove minus 10 from the right-hand side, from the left-hand side. So we do plus 10. Now something interesting happened in the previous step. When we subtracted 5x here, we also had to subtract 5x from the left-hand side. So 4x minus 5x is minus 1x. But instead of writing down minus 1x, they wrote down minus x. Minus 1x is the same as minus 1 times x. And if you multiply any number by minus 1, what happens? That's right, you just get the negative version of that number. So that's why the 1 is left out. Minus 1x is the same as minus x. So on the right-hand side, we have 13 right now because we did a 3 plus 10. So if minus x is 13, we can arrive at the solution by dividing by whatever is in front of x. Right now, all there is in front of x is a minus, but we just learned that that is in fact minus 1. So if we divide by minus 1, we get the correct solution to this equation, and that's x equals minus 13. One more to go, exercise 6. Here we see one pair of brackets on the left-hand side with an extra number behind it, and on the right-hand side we see another one of those minus x's, which means minus 1 times x. The first thing to do is to remove brackets, so 2 times x gives 2x, and 2 times minus 3 should give minus 6. So if I press this button, I indeed get 2x minus 6 instead of the brackets. The extra number minus 8 is copied down as well, and that can be collected together with the minus 6 before it. So if we press simplify, it will indeed subtract 8 from minus 6, so we get minus 14. Now again, we want to move all of the x's from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, and we want to remove the regular numbers from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So to remove the minus x on the right-hand side, I have to do plus x, plus 1x or plus x, that doesn't matter, it's the same. So either type in plus x or type in plus 1x, it will give this next step. 1x has been added to the left-hand side, so 2x has become 3x, and the rest is the same. Now we have to remove minus 14 from the left-hand side, so we do plus 14. And we see that 4 becomes 18 because we have added 14 to it. Now if 3x is 18, we have one last step to do. Dividing by 3 gives the solution x equals 6.